Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, and we also had the Avengers. Now, the Avengers, after the events of Ultron, have decided to remain a full team. And Deku, he currently is stepping away from everything again. James Rhodes died in the battle against Ultron. Ultron was destroyed by the nanite swarm him and Friday developed, and T'Challa ripped out his metal heart, took his body back to Wakanda where he can properly be disposed of. And Deku, yeah, he's not sure what to do. He needs to build something to protect Attilan. He needs to build something else. And he has decided to build one more thing. The simplest thing he's ever built. A wedding band. A ring for Crystal, his wife. And Izuku, him and her spent the day together and killed a bottle of wine. They just had fun. They relaxed and were able to be themselves. And Izuku, he didn't feel pressure. He didn't feel fear. He just felt at ease. And the next day while Crystal lied in bed, he got to work on a project, since he does have to build something to protect Attilan. And then he can go forward with a few other projects before putting down the tools, letting Iron Man be Iron Man, and letting Izuku be Izuku. Now, with that all being said, we do currently cut to almost 5 years after the snap. Everything has been better. The world, they have had 5 years come and go. Threats have popped up, but they have been taken down by the heroes. The Earth is safe. As far as they're aware of the universe, it's been healing. If Earth, a primitive civilization to some standards, can function better, can recover this way, other civilizations should be better off. Deku, he does have a lot going through his head, as currently he does sit there in his armory and working on a few things. And there actually currently is Crystal. Crystal does sit there with some of her friends out at a restaurant. And there actually is Valor, the cat-like Inhuman, who does try to ask exactly if Crystal has been busy with a few things. I have been, yes. Though everything's been okay. Are you sure? Just going to step forwards. And bring her hands up. Clapping her hands, and then going to shapeshift. Expressing. Her staying there as her quote-unquote spouse. Expressing. She's been dealing with quite a few things. Though, one of the most annoying things she's been dealing with is this asshole doing something stupid. And fact of the matter is, she doesn't understand how Crystal deals with it. I deal with everything fine. Her friend can shapeshift back into herself. Expressing. She loves the himbo, but don't get her wrong. He definitely has flaws. Her gonna walk over and sit down, as there actually is Electo. Her going to sit there and bring up her cup, expressing to her friend. Maybe she's just not trying. Her gonna turn and morph into her friend's husband, going to express bring her arm onto the table. That she really shouldn't be the one to judge. Besides, isn't she having problems in paradise? Now, everybody does sit at the table, and they are talking about a few things. Right now, Crystal, watching her friends, be a little bit more dramatic. And she does think about the few problems that she does have with Deku. It certainly is far and in between. And there currently is where we do cut to down on Earth, where Iron Man is doing quite a lot. And Whiplash, he has escaped from prison. With everything going on, he wanted to see family. And he heard about what happened to the world. He got out once, and he couldn't find his daughter. And he turned to a life of crime. He went back to it, trying to fulfill that old itch, kill Iron Man, and succeed in that goal. See what he can do and find out how things are there. And currently Iron Man does come landing down. Him going to actually stand back up and fully face Whiplash. As one of the Mark 7 does get to stand there. And currently Iron Man does get to inform him that he should really stand down, since he doesn't stand a chance. And Whiplash, he does just want to stand there. As right now Dr. Octopus, he does come to step out of the bank. Him going to actually express that he really should be careful what he does say, since it is more than just a one-on-one. And right now Iron Man, he does goes on express. Funny, he was just going to say that, as currently there actually is where Kamala Khan does come stretching down and laying onto the ground. As right now Spider-Man does have his webs whip onto the scene. Him going to actually fly in and land down. Going to stand up and express to Doc Ock. You know, he's used to him working with a scorpion. Though him dealing with, well, he wouldn't call this guy Electro, because Electro actually has powers. Let's see. There's a joke on the tip of his tongue, but what is it? Come on, Spidey. You done? Yeah, fine. I deal with Doc Ock, you deal with him? Yeah, usual routine. I deal with what I can, you deal with what you're familiar with. Now, Spidey, he doesn't understand. Him bringing up his hands and firing out webs. As Iron Man does a flying up to the left. And Kamala Khan, she just won't stand back. Her going to try and wait to find out who might need backup. Doc Ock could be serious trouble, though she doubts that they're all alone. And that is where Kamala Khan does have Spidey yell out for her to dodge, as he has to turn his head and see the scorpion. Right now him going to smash onto the scene as Kamala Khan does throw herself backwards through the air. Her bring her hands up and grabbing onto a light post as she does elongate and going to fly forwards. And we do actually have Deku. Or should I be saying Iron Man, who currently does go try and deal with Whiplash. In Whiplash, he has made some modifications. Him wearing a proper suit and trying to express to Iron Man. Right now him gonna bring up and have the whips whip through the air. Right now one of them slices through the car as there actually is Deku, who does gonna bring his hand up as we do cut back to the armory, where the real Izuku, he does could actually get an alert from his AI. Him gonna look up as he does stand up. Him gonna walk over to the computer and tap down onto a few things in the console. Right now him seeing the data inside. Before he does gonna have his powers activate. And Deku finds himself down on Earth, inside the robot suit he built. Now, Deku, he just stared directly at Whiplash before going to turn off the man's suit and bring his hand up. Right now him bringing his hand closed and ripping it towards him, as the power core is to fly out and towards Deku. As he's a habit float up in the air and go to express to him that, he really shouldn't be playing with toys like this. They could be awfully him gonna grab the reactor and crushing it. Dangerous. As the suit is to fall forwards and smash into the ground. And Deku, he does a turn going back to what he does currently have planned. Him going to continue the weld that was interrupted, walking back over to sit down. Now, Izuku, he does continue on with some of his work, before heading back home on Attilan. And Iron Man, he does continue to work with the Avengers. As Izuku, he does get to head home. And whenever he does get to arrive, there actually is, or Friday does get on sit there. Her gonna turn to Izuku and stand, expressing about how she will take her leave now. And Deku will go to thank her. Friday going to inform her that Crystal called ahead, and she was already currently on her way home. In fact, she is about 2 minutes out. The door gonna slide open. Friday turning her head. 5 seconds out. As Crystal does a step inside and ask if she missed anything important. And Deku will go to express, holding up a cup of coffee. Not really. He just got home. In fact, he was just about to check on her. Really? Yeah, yeah. I'll go see about that. Now Crystal goes out run over. And Deku, he has a turn, going to sit down his cup of coffee, walking into the bedroom and going to stare down at his daughter's crib. Currently, I'm going to walk over and sit down on the bed, looking down and seeing her lie there asleep. Her hair a dark shade. And Deku just won't smile. Her hair has red highlights, and that is extremely weird. He knows that Inhumans, they have that risk mutation in DNA. But I mean, she looks completely normal. He's seen crazy things, and he won't lie. He imagined something different. The crystal, she did explain it to him. Teragenesis is how they get their powers, and one day she will go through it. And Deku, he does have his concerns about that. Whenever he was encountered by it, exposed to the mist, it was hard. I mean, it was sudden. Terrifying? I mean, it was weird. But it's even weirder now. It seems natural. I mean, a controlled environment he can understand. Raw exposure, that'd be the best. Though, he does need to talk to Medusa about something, since she has been adamant about one simple idea. And it is not very good. Right now, Jasmine going to somewhat wake up. Her gonna turn her head and begin to somewhat cry out, as their actions of Crystal does come flying back into the room and bending down, grabbing her daughter and gonna pick her up. Her gonna somewhat spin her around as her daughter does gonna laugh, expressing about how she's a little airplane. And Deku, he does stare at that. Him gonna watch on as Crystal is gonna pull her daughter in close to her before gonna turn over to Izuku, asking him if she ruined his moment. No, never. I don't get tired of that. You don't. Well, I think someone's a little cranky, and I'm not talking about the baby. No. No, it's just. It's still weird to me. Is it? Yeah, I mean, yes. Does your sister really think it's a good idea to expose her now? I I don't know. The council is debating it all, exposing the newer generation at a younger age, allow them to live their lives with their powers. Though, with what happened to my cousin, that would be an issue. His quasi-sonic scream, his voice. You said that before. But I'm worried about that. What if she has what if she has your powers but stronger? or even powers different entirely. It's possible. I mean, I don't think even I can predict what can happen. I'm sure you can't. Though my sister isn't quite adamant about it. Allow them to grow, learn more about their home, and learn more about what happened. And then allow them all exposure. A new idea has been posed, and certain people who have ascended to the rank of members of the council, they have new ideas, ways to change things. Once those can be properly implemented, a vote will be taken and seen. She will have a voice there. Good. I know. Very much so. Anyways, I'm sure you're tired, and I did need to do a few things. So, did you want to spend time with her? How about we all spend time together? Deku goes to stand up. Him grabbing Crystal and is going to spin her around. Her going to giggle as Deku's going to walk back out in the living room. And they all do get to sit down. Deku putting on something to watch. And there currently is Medusa. Medusa has become more and more involved with the Genetic Council. And the Council, they have been trying to do quite a bit. They have elected more members to their numbers. And these new members have tried to change how things have been working for thousands of years. They've already changed many things they did not like. However, those regulations were made as a result of Black Bolt setting off a bomb on the planet known as Earth. They undid the limit on children that Inhumans could have. No longer just 2 to a family. No longer 2 to the parents, and so on and so forth. They removed that restriction because of the new genetic diversity they had in their gene pool. And this, what they're posing, it does not suit them. It could affect them in the long run. Because it is posing the idea of bringing in humans who may have potential inhuman genes, scanning them for a chance of it, the likelihood, and the potential they might have being on a Talon. These people are not true inhuman, but the potential that their genetic spawn could have, yeah. They do not like dealing in simple ideas. They like dealing in simple facts. And these facts might be inside their genetic code. But they are still human. And they do not belong on a Talon. And that is the problem currently being faced. It does piss many of them off. And Medusa, she currently does go to leave. Since clearly she is wasting her time trying to talk to any of them. And it does annoy her. Now, Deku, he does spend the rest of the day trying to spend it with his family. And Medusa, she does need to talk to her sister. Get her counsel on this. Seek her mind. Maybe even talk to Izuku, since he has been helpful in the past. And he does have a bit of leeway with the council, being the only person who can be capable of beating Maximus the Mad in intelligence, and even building the Guardians who help protect Attilan, even help expanding this very city they walk in, allowing the atmosphere to continue to be breathable and allowing them to actually have more yield in many resources. This, it could be her ace in the sleeve. Or, well, they don't gamble because they don't use money, so, what would be the adequate human expression here? That currently in her mind. Her thinking of something and chickens, not counting them before they hatch? Maybe that is the thing. Expression? Phrase? Whatever. It going through her mind. And when Medusa is going to show up at their home, she does go to actually press the button. Run to the door, going to ding, as Deku's to turn his head and bring his hand up. The door sliding open. Her going to step inside and currently see Deku. Him, with Crystal, sitting in his lap with their daughter, trying to at least ask if she does have a second. And this, it does surprise Crystal. Her actually going to stand up and turn, setting down the baby to Deku as he does go sit there. Him making a face at his daughter as she doesn't giggle. Him gonna smile. And the two do step into the other room to chat. Now, with that being said, there actually is back down on Earth, where a few things they have been happening. Reed Richards, his obsession, and his simple idea. Finding the stones. Finding a way around all this. It needs to happen. It needs to... Him staring at his screen. Alarmed. One second it was there. But no. How is this possible? This data. This data. No. I'm going to turn. Going to jump up and immediately try to call anyone he can. Him screaming out for Ben as Ben was currently on the pot. Hearing Reed scream like a madman scared the shit out of him. And he does a jump up, pulling up his trousers, and running out of the bathroom. Him trying to get his buckle as he's trying to yell out that Reed really has bad timing. Now, currently Reed, he does try to get Ben to call anyone he can. Hell, call fucking Wolverine for poker. He doesn't care. Get someone here now. He needs all hands on deck because they found one of the stones. It's on Earth. And that does concern Ben. Because if it's on Earth, that means one thing. Thanos might be coming for it. But there's also one other question going through his mind. How did it get here? Why now? And it is definitely concerning. Now, the Avengers, they do begin to gather and they are actually informed about the current situation. Because this could definitely be bad. And we do currently have the individual who has the stone, them bringing it up in their hand and staring at it, as they do to sit there. And they do to turn, looking at the man sitting next to them. Since they're worried. He found it to try and bring him back. Found it to try and just talk to him and see whether or not it would work. I mean, just fix the problem. He was a good man, a great man, the best man. And Deadpool, he does sit there. Him going to actually bring something up to his neck and stick it in. Him going to press down on the thing as a syringe, it does going to inject the liquid directly into his neck. Him going to turn and talking about it. Sorry about that. That was an extra strength sedative. Especially with something to mess with the healing factor. You really think doing that to yourself is going to be good? Maybe. Not really too sure. Listen, I don't know. I've been jumping around to different Earths, trying to think, figure things out, see what happens. But It doesn't work. I just don't get it. In every Earth, it does not work. I mean, I talked to this other fucker, but he couldn't even make it work. Now he's fucked off to somewhere, who knows? I don't know. That's the whole problem, though. Him and that other rich, pompous asshole, they couldn't help me. If I if I just talked to you, maybe I could figure it out. Right, Stan? I don't know. Listen, what you're asking of me might be too far beyond my capabilities. They're not, though. That's the thing. And you don't believe me. No one believes me. Jesus. Um, I don't like those words. You're still alive here. Where the man gonna turn? Standing up and going to express. Hey, I'm gonna tell Deadpool that that might be true. However, at some point, everyone's gotta grow up. I mean, he won't really say it's growing up, though. It's all about growth, finding out the next journey ahead, moving on to the next. It's hard to really say, though he's not sure if he got that right. He says this is all a comic book. There you go. There you go. You get it. You get it. Not sure I do, son. Listen, how about you come talk to me when you get your head on straight? I'm going to turn and mumble something to Deadpool. And currently he does a look up, a lot more alarmed, as the old man does a walk away. Him walking out of the area of the time field and going to disappear. And Deadpool does a jump up, him trying to run over to catch up. But he's already gone. He's already gone. Currently, Deadpool gonna bring his hand up and trying to rewind time again, trying to make sure he can undo everything, maybe actually fix things. But Deadpool loses control of the time stone, and New York, yeah, it goes further back than he wanted. And currently, Deadpool, he is attacked by an entire wave of velociraptors, them piling onto him and beginning to rip him to shreds. And currently, Deadpool does a scream out, talking about how it's not fair. Now, Iron Man, he was flying through the air, and the moment New York was immediately hit by this time wave, he was alarmed. Currently, him flying through the air as the robot, it doesn't have its sensors begin to light up, and the map is covered in dots, showing aerial enemies all around him. And currently, he has to do one thing. He has to hit his air brakes and could actually send a response back to the armory, as other suits do begin to activate. And many of them, they do begin their launch sequence. Currently, them going to launch out of the armory and fly through the air. And Deku, while he was sitting there hours later with his family, he does have the wristband he's wearing begin to beep. Deku going to actually bring his hand up and look at the data. His eyes going to glow and pour with a bit of electricity. Him going to look up as is a turn. Him going to tell Crystal. It's... No. Go handle it. We'll still be here. It shouldn't take too long, right? I don't know. Crystal, it's... More than one suit's been deployed. From what I can tell, 3 suits are deployed. And that's a big problem. Izuku. Hey, I'm going to turn back to looking at her. Her will smile. And Deku, he doesn't understand. Currently, him gonna bring his hand up as there actually is the spacesuit. It beginning to fly out of the closet as Deku is gonna have it cover his hands and then his legs. It then gonna form around his torso and take shape. And Izuku, he doesn't have the helmet, going to fall down onto his head. Him gonna run outside and blast off. And he doesn't head out, making his way back to Earth to try and understand what is going on. And on his way, he does begin to at least get incoming responses and reports from the Avengers. Since dinosaurs in New York. Huh. Okay. So Spidey's gotta do. No, 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 not lizards. Actual prehistoric. Doesn't he have a villain like this? He must have a villain like this, right? The octopus, the lizard, the the goblin? Not sure how that one works, but whatever. Because he also does have the rhino and the scorp. Yeah, how does the Spidey's ripping off on him? Then Deku's mind, as currently he doesn't enter the higher orbit and make his way in to the battlefield. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part. And always remember, Excelsior.